You've covered abundance versus scarcity, and I'd like to know why you think that's so important. I came to the realization recently that I have been living with a scarcity mindset for a long time, but I haven't had to worry about money for decades. And
Mm.
it was a really interesting light bulb that went off. I grew up really poor. I didn't know we were as
You were
poor.
on the farm.
Yeah.
I know you were on the
We're on the
farm.
farm. I didn't
Yeah.
I didn't know we were as poor as we were. And I'm just amazed that my mother was able to keep food on the table. And I think a lot of us don't examine our own mindset when it comes to scarcity and abundance. And I'd love for you to cover why that's so important.
Oh my God. Well, first of all, thank you for sharing that. And no, you're not alone. I also had a scarcity mindset for a long time. So this is actually backed by data and science. So I'm going to give you some facts and I'm going to give you like my version of it. Okay. So there was a study from the National Science Foundation in 2005 that the average human thinks between 50,000 to 80,000 thoughts per day. And of those 50 to 80,000 thoughts, they form 6,200 thought worms or sentences, words form together to form sentences. Of those 6,200 thought worms that we think, what percentage do you think of those thought worms were negative?
I'm going to say overwhelming majority, 75%.
Yeah, 80%.
Yeah.
Exactly. Yeah. So here's the other kicker. We are repeating the same thoughts 95% of the time. So you're not alone, Mark. You're literally not alone because everyone does it. So this idea of scarcity, we repeat these scarcity statements. For me, I lived with a scarcity statement for a very long time. I am not worthy. I probably spent the first 8 years of my business in this mindset, truly. And I had to change that I am not worthy to I am worthy. That took intentional effort. I have a shortcut effort I could share with you that I use on the daily called New Choice.
Yeah, I'd love it.
Okay. So let me do this one on you. Okay. So this is actually, it's pulled from the book. It's also, it's a activity pulled from the improv stage. But the great news is you don't need a stage or a scene partner because the scene partner is your mind. That was your mind being blown. Okay. So here's how it works. You are going to tell me that scarcity statement, that thought that you're thinking 80% of the time, that is negative, that is a limiting belief. What is that thought that usually comes up for you?
Yeah, it usually just sounds something like, I don't think I have enough money. I don't think I have enough money to secure our financial future.
Yep. Okay. Let's just remove think. I don't have enough money to secure our financial future.
Yeah.
Okay. Because you're thinking it. I don't have enough money to secure our financial future. What's going to happen when you say that? The next time it comes up, you're going to clap and tell yourself new choice. This is a pattern disruption. You could clap under, like right now, you could just like do it with your hands clasped. If you're in a meeting, you can just kind of like do like this, but that will disrupt the pattern. Step 2, in your mind, you're going to forgive yourself because you're human. 80% of the time, all of humanity is doing this. And then you're going to have a reframe for that scarcity statement. It will become your abundance statement. So how could you reframe that statement?
I have enough.
That's it. I have enough. So the next time that I just had a show with a woman and she told me, she called it head trash. The next time that head trash pops up, I want you to clap, tell yourself a new choice, forgive yourself and say, I have enough. Or if you get to the point you don't need the pattern disruption, you're just going to replace it with I have enough. I have enough. I have enough. More is coming. More is coming. I have enough. Or you don't even have to say the more is coming, but you genuinely changing your thoughts changes the words that you say, which changes the actions that you take. And so when we go from this scarcity mindset to an abundance mindset, we're actually giving not only ourselves the gift of inner peace, but we're giving the world around us peace because we actually control every single cell in our body with our thoughts. So you're saving yourself doctor's visits. You're saving yourself visits to the chiropractor because your back won't hurt because you're going to heal the emotions that you're feeling by removing the scarcity and bringing in more abundance into your mindset. Wow. It's a mindset.
And it's just like early in your career when you didn't believe in yourself. When you started to believe in yourself, I'm guessing you showed up with a completely different energy at those pitch sessions or those business meetings, things like that.
Yeah, I like know the shift. I probably couldn't watch an episode of my own podcast for like probably the first 50 episodes. I was a different person, and I had to go through a healing journey of my own to release those emotions, and I'm so glad I did. And I know part of my purpose in helping people reach their highest consciousness is helping them do the same thing.
It's interesting that you talk about the number of negative thoughts that we have in our heads every day. I was first exposed to that idea. Do you know Russell Wilson, the quarterback for the Seattle Seahawks and Denver Broncos? He's a famous quarterback in the NFL, iconic sports figure in Seattle. And I had a chance to get to know his mental coach, who's no longer with us. Trevor Moawad is his name. And Trevor was a brilliant mental coach. But how he transformed Russell, who was one of the shortest quarterbacks in the NFL, is that he got Russell together. They got Russell to just truly believe in himself and to take those negative thoughts and just get them out of there. So Russell actually believed, Trevor said, that since he had a lower center of gravity, he was quicker on his feet and was harder to catch. Don't know if that's actually true, but Russell believed it. Long story short, Russell, is one of the highest paid quarterbacks in the history of the NFL, one of the most successful quarterbacks. And it was that self-belief that Trevor Moawad helped him, but they couldn't get to that self-belief until they took care of those negative thoughts. And it's such a radical idea for a lot of us. And the other thing that Trevor taught Russell is that we need to think about our mistakes to the extent that they will benefit us in the immediate present and future. So,
Yep.
first play of one game, Russell's on his own 5-yard line. He fumbles the ball. The other team recovers. They end up scoring. A reporter asked Russell after the game, "What were you thinking after you fumbled on the first play?" And he goes, "Honestly, I hadn't thought about it until you just talked about it now." Russell realized that if he thought about things, negative things, that in a way that didn't benefit him, he was wasting his mental energy and he was sabotaging his future performance. So it's that idea, all those negative thoughts and stuff, let's think about the ones that benefit us. Okay, I did this and that probably was not a good idea. So to take those and reframe them in a way that we use them in a positive way. But
So good.
I love that lesson that you led me through right there. That was really interesting.
Oh, thank you. And I love that story. That's a really cool story. And, I just to piggyback one thing that also improv teaches, and this is another major tenet, is there are no mistakes, only gifts. It's a massive rule on the stage. If anything happens in the scene, not a part of the scene, it becomes a part of the scene and you make it so. And same with life. You can see mistakes as mistakes or you can see them as opportunities. And that mantra is also kind of built into my DNA now. And I say, Phil, yeah, when things happen, it sucks. I'm a human. I have to process it. I'm not always happy about it, but there's always a lesson. And if I can take that lesson and apply it, then there's a reason it happened.
Yeah. It sounds like you've learned a lot, Erin, over the years. If you had to go back and give your earlier self some advice, what would you say? This
is so interesting. Mark, you're really bringing up things for me today that like the universe is trying to get me to actually apply. Cause I work with an energy healer and she actually told me right now, I need to honor my inner child and I need a picture of my younger self to look at, to consciously give compassion and love to her. But I think if I could say anything at this point in my life, it would be to surrender more. And what I mean by that is I'm a type A control freak. Yeah, I'm like the most anomaly of an improviser you'll ever meet. And my whole team is actually like, we can let go on the stage, but like, we're like, trying to control the details over here. And so every time I've held too tightly to something in my life, I've sort of messed with the plan. And I think that surrender to me means just trusting myself, trusting my inner guide, trusting my intuition, just knowing that there is a reason. And if I looked at the puzzle that is my life, every puzzle piece leads up to, the big final masterpiece. And there's always a reason for that puzzle piece. So if I could go back in time, I would tell my younger self to stop worrying about the future. I think there's periods and seasons of my life that I didn't, and I recognized the beauty in those seasons. I was really fulfilled, and I felt very joyful and a lot of gratitude in those moments. And I had seasons which they were learning seasons, and they were gray and they were darker, and that's okay. But the need to control, I wish I let go of a long time ago.